Have you ever wanted something for so long, finally gotten it, and then somehow started destroying it? A good friendship, a new relationship, a great opportunity, even your own progress. And the strangest part is, you may not even realize you're doing it. You start overthinking. You pull away. You lose motivation. You suddenly notice every little flaw. And eventually, the thing you once desperately wanted is gone. Then you ask yourself, why did I do that? The uncomfortable answer is that your brain doesn't always care about what is best for you. It cares about what is familiar. And sometimes, familiar feels safer than happy. Imagine you finally meet someone who treats you well. They listen. They respect you. They don't play games. First, everything feels amazing. But after a while, something changes. You start thinking, why are they being so nice? What if they suddenly leave? Maybe they aren't actually right for me. And without any evidence, your brain starts searching for problems. One small thing they say suddenly feels important. A delayed reply becomes a sign that they don't care. A harmless mistake becomes proof that something is wrong. You aren't necessarily reacting to reality anymore. You're reacting to a story your brain created. And here's where it gets interesting. Your brain is constantly trying to predict what happens next. It uses your past experiences to make those predictions. If you've experienced rejection, failure, embarrassment, or disappointment before, your brain can start treating similar situations like potential threats. So when something good finally appears, your brain may whisper, don't get too comfortable, because if you expect something to disappear, losing it might hurt less. That's the first trap. Sometimes people don't destroy good things because they don't want them. They destroy them because they are afraid of losing them. And that sounds strange. But think about it. If you never fully trust something, you never have to fully depend on it. And if you never depend on it, losing it feels a little less dangerous. Your brain thinks it's protecting you. But there's another problem. Your brain also prefers certainty over uncertainty, even when the certainty is bad. That's why someone can stay stuck in the same unhealthy routine for years. They know it's frustrating. They know they want something different. But at least they know what tomorrow looks like. Now compare that to something new. A new goal, a new friendship, a new environment, a new version of yourself. Suddenly, there are thousands of unknowns. And uncertainty creates discomfort. So your brain starts looking for an escape. You procrastinate. You overthink. You find reasons why it won't work. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. And eventually you return to the familiar. Not because the familiar was better, because it was predictable. This is one reason self-sabotage can feel so confusing. Your conscious mind says, I want this. But another part of your brain says, this feels unfamiliar. Get away. And the conflict happens silently. Consider a student who spends weeks preparing for an important exam. They finally start improving. Their grades go up. Their confidence grows. But instead of feeling proud, they suddenly relax too much. They start scrolling more. They skip a few study sessions. Then another. Eventually, their performance drops. From the outside, it looks like laziness. But sometimes there's something deeper happening. Success creates a new question. What if I can't maintain this? Failure is painful. But success can create pressure too. Because now you have something to lose. And your brain doesn't always distinguish between physical danger and emotional discomfort. So it tries to reduce the discomfort, even if that means returning to your old behavior. But here's the part most people miss. Self-sabotage isn't always obvious. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. You keep working on something because it isn't good enough. You keep waiting for the perfect moment. You keep researching. You keep planning. But you never actually finish. Why? Because as long as something isn't finished, it can't truly fail. You can always tell yourself, I could have done better. And that protects your ego. But it also keeps you stuck. Sometimes self-sabotage looks like quitting right before progress becomes visible. Sometimes it looks like constantly comparing yourself to other people. And sometimes it looks like creating problems where there weren't any. Because your brain is incredibly good at finding evidence for what it already expects. If you expect people to leave, you'll notice every sign of distance. If you expect yourself to fail, you'll remember every mistake. If you believe you're not capable, your brain will collect evidence to prove it. Psychologists call this kind of pattern confirmation bias. But there's an even deeper layer. Your brain doesn't just learn from what happens. It learns from what you repeatedly tell yourself happened. Imagine failing once at something. The event itself is small, but then you replay it. I always mess things up. I'm just not good at this. People like me don't succeed. Now the event has become an identity. And once something becomes part of your identity, changing it can feel uncomfortable. Because improvement isn't just about learning a new skill. Sometimes it's about becoming a person your old beliefs don't recognize. That's why change can feel strangely uncomfortable even when it's positive. You're not only changing your behavior, you're changing what feels normal. And your brain needs time to catch up. So how do you stop ruining good things? Not by becoming perfectly confident. Not by forcing yourself to think positive. And definitely not by blaming yourself every time something goes wrong. The first step is much simpler. Notice the moment when your behavior suddenly changes. When something starts going well, ask, what am I afraid might happen next? Not what's wrong with this? What am I afraid might happen? That question can expose the real problem. Maybe you're afraid of rejection. Maybe you're afraid of failing after people expect more from you. Maybe you're afraid that success will bring pressure. Maybe you're simply uncomfortable because the new situation doesn't feel familiar yet. And when you identify the fear, don't immediately obey it. Give yourself time. If you suddenly feel like quitting something you've worked hard for, wait. If you suddenly decide someone doesn't care about you because of one small event, pause. If you suddenly believe you're incapable because of one failure, examine the evidence. Your first emotional reaction is information. It isn't always truth. And that distinction can change everything. Because your brain will keep trying to protect you. That's its job. It will point toward what is familiar. It will warn you about uncertainty. It will remind you of old failures. But you don't have to let an old prediction control a new situation. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. The goal is to stop treating every uncomfortable feeling like a warning sign. Because sometimes discomfort means something is wrong. And sometimes, it simply means you're growing beyond what your brain is used to. So the next time something good enters your life and you suddenly feel the urge to pull away, question everything or walk out, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, am I actually unhappy with this? Or am I just uncomfortable because this is unfamiliar? Because sometimes the thing you're trying hardest to escape isn't the thing hurting you. It's the possibility that your life might actually change. And maybe the most dangerous form of self-sabotage isn't destroying something good. It's convincing yourself that you never wanted it in the first place.